So I think once you've got yourselves down there and sort yourselves out, perhaps back up here for the dining hall, which is a central area to have lunch, and then we've got a meeting at 12:30 in the chapel.
You're not female, so you're outside now.
There are 9 schools here with varying numbers of students, and I welcome you all as a group, not as a set of individual schools. I suppose, really, it all came about as a sort of just one of those sort of harebrained scheme. Why don't we do Mahler's 8th Symphony, and why don't you be part of it? And then it was up to us to buy into that project. We're all going to be learning a piece which has quite a lot of difficulties in it. It's quite difficult musically, and you're going to be going through a process of learning up to that point. That means we're all working at it together. And so the idea, I hope, for the next 4 days is as we all work together to get through those barriers. The schedule for today, what we're going to try and do is to do some rehearsing. A first opportunity to actually see if we know any of these notes, or not, as the case may be. Doesn't matter. Well, I think it is a completely balmy idea, really. I mean, you're getting so many people together to perform such an event.
When he mentioned Mahler 8, I must admit, I think probably my eyes popped out my head. I thought, this is quite some challenge to take on.
What I said was, why don't we do Mahler's 8th Symphony, the most difficult piece of music ever written?
Once we'd all sat down, got some schools committed to it, I think we thought that, it was possible. I think we were quite clear in our minds that we needed a certain number of singers, and we just asked schools to bid for the number of places that they were going to be able to offer.
The idea of a symphony of 1,000. It is crazy, and it would be crazy with any choir.
So let's take it from 1-3-5 once more. Ding a ding a ding a ding. 1 ding.
We knew what we needed in the orchestra, so again it was a question of asking the schools that had volunteered to join to nominate some players.
This is the largest orchestra I've ever played in, so it's shown me the importance of your role within a section and as a section as a whole within the whole orchestra.
Before we got together this weekend, I hadn't had much chance to play it, certainly not with any other people. So it's always quite interesting to put your own part, especially like viola, kind of middle strings. You've got all these harmonies, but nothing to harmonise with. It's amazing to kind of see it pieced together like a jigsaw piece.
So the very first thing I did was to play a chunk of it so that we could get the feel of this is what it's going to be like. And there was no point in stopping within a couple of minutes and saying, oh, it's not quite right yet. You just needed to do 30 minutes and say, this is what this piece sounds like.
This is absolutely thrilling. You're working at a music on a really, really high level. When you hear them all play at once, it's an overwhelming sound.
Ron was already a friend, and he was going to help me work on the problems of Mahler 8. But it was very clear after a couple of weeks of working together that actually I needed to turn him and say, Ron, would you mind conducting this for me? And he was very brave. He said yes.
Well, I think I thought, this is a big piece, that we've got to be careful here. Can we do it? And what became clear is that as long as there was a lot of build-up to it and a lot of rehearsal built into a weekend away, then it was possible. You can't just come in and do this at the last moment. I think there was a suggestion that somebody might come in and just conduct on the day. And I said, no, don't go that route at all. They've got to be nurtured to get there. And I did say quite bluntly, what level will you expect it to be at? Because I think we have to be realistic about what can be done. But the more we talked about putting it together, the more we put in safety valves to make sure it would work. And the fact that I've seen it all the way through its journey has been the great strength, I think.
This is the skill of playing in orchestra, to be able to count bars rest and then and come in really accurately, okay? Just to make it and in tune and balanced and same length note, yeah? After two and a 1, 2.
In the sectionals we've just been working through the parts and John's been teaching us like exercises and stuff to help with the range because it gets quite high.
On the trumpet, it's actually my first real experience of a big symphony, big concert. It's a big challenge. The Mahler 8 it's a big piece. Should be really good.
Mahler 8 is just one fiendish piece of music. There's nothing easy about the piece of music whatsoever.
I mean, to have 2 different sections of brass, all of which are doubled, is extraordinary. I mean, you don't get works this big for this many people very often.
Yeah, I mean, Mahler is very busy pushing the boundaries. I mean, he's pushing his players, his professional players, to exceed, what is expected in a way. And but at all levels. I mean, actually, in the scale of a symphony as well. I mean, he's pushing the symphony. I mean, he wants it to embrace the world, and that was his sort of picture. And so that whole vision, it's somewhere otherworldly.
Mahler was one of the greatest musicians of the 19th and early 20th century. He conceived of symphonies and large-scale symphonic works on such an enormous scale. Nobody's ever really sort of done it since.
For me, Mahler, he's one of the greats, one of the great composers. He's different from some of the others.
He was a superstar conductor. He was at the Concertgebouw in Amsterdam, he was at New York, he was in Chicago. He even came to London and conducted the first ever ring cycle of Wagner's at Covent Garden. He was the Rachmaninoff of the baton.
The first day or so, really, it's people getting to know each other, trying to blend sounds, and it's as though you've got a giant jigsaw puzzle on a table, and you gradually have to fit the bits and pieces together.
Altos and then sopranos.
Just get on. It's quite difficult to conduct because actually the way he's written it is sometimes quite complicated, But my job, I'm very aware, is the pulling of it together by steering it. I'm very aware that they rely on me for leads. And with a piece as big as that, that's really quite a challenge because you can't give everybody at every moment the lead they need. And so they need some initiative of their own.
Be aware that in here it's going to feel very different to the festival hall. And so you're going to feel very remote and very detached. You're going to rely on me, I can see, for lots of entries, and I'm happy to give them to you. But let's just find our feet. Let's sing Veni at the beginning, just the choir. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So by the time we come to Monday morning, the orchestra really needs to be able to hear what the choir's doing, because a lot of their material relates to the choir. And the choir also needs to be able to hear all of the orchestral background, because otherwise they just can't put their music into context. They've got no harmonic background to work against.
Everything is at its extreme, and with the choir as well, they sing very high. I mean, the altos go up to top G sharp, which is way above what you expect, and the bass is down to bottom B flats and things.
The first part is a bit like running a marathon. Like, you can't slow down or rest or stop thinking at any point. By the second half, you can kind of, enjoy it a bit more, I guess.
being able to hear all the music and hear all the notes and hear where the harmony is going was very difficult. So we've had a lot of rehearsals just making sure that we can kind of blend as well our sound as a choir, because there's so many schools involved.
A lot of the time Mahler is writing for the voices as if they're instruments, making quite challenging demands upon the voice and musical techniques and indeed musical understanding. And so a lot of the work that we've done with the boys and girls in the chorus over the last 3 days has been purely about making sure that they're going to feel confident and comfortable.
Sweet glory, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a major third. Yeah, everybody, 2, 3, 4.
These huge breaks in the pieces where the singers are supposed to be singing, and you're kind of trying to imagine what it would be like. So it's been really good today to see how that might sound.
Some are singing over there, some are playing the viola, some are out there in the car park playing the drums. They're still going, they just can't give it up.
Learning from each other, this sort of experience of being around other people is absolutely fantastic educational experience. It's a very vital musical educational experience.
For them to have met with people from different schools from all over the country, to have made the new friends and to be experiencing that friendship through music making is just astonishing.
The standard's so high. I can't believe that we can put this together in just a few days.
Unbelievable, unbelievable.
It actually takes some form of external organisation, and in this particular case it's the duet group and Jonathan in particular, who's got a real passion for Mahler and this piece, to say, okay, this is going to happen. I have booked the Royal Festival Hall and we will get you all together and it's going to happen. It's going to be great.
It's been an extraordinary undertaking for Duet and also for the host school of Wellington College and for everyone associated with it, really, in terms of coordination. I mean, you know, actually just getting the sheer number of musicians together in one place, all the logistics of different rehearsals, feeding, sleeping arrangements, you know, and the list goes on and on, let alone worrying about music.
For a lot of them, it'll be the first time in the festival. Cellos. So you are on the green side, which is this side.
Tenor Choir 1, I think, is dressing room 17 on level 4. Tenor Choir 2 is dressing room 18.
This symphony is not performed very often. It's too expensive and it's hard. So it's a great opportunity for these children.
I think, you know, once we're in there and it's all kind of a full run through, I think, you know, we'll really should go really well, hopefully.
I've never played here before, so it's one in a lifetime sort of opportunity, really.
The biggest challenge probably is just very simply being the music. It's difficult, and different schools will come with different experiences of learning it. It is one of the iconic pieces in the classical repertoire, and the fact that they're all involved in it, they're hearing and seeing and almost smelling the sound, and that is very important, I think.
Well, I'm really actually thankful to everyone who sort of organised it, because it's given all of us opportunities to sort of see what it's like to play in a massive orchestra on a professional stage with a real musical critique audience, and it's just fantastic.
Morning and welcome everybody. Let's tune then, please, if you haven't already. So that we can't perform this piece 3 times in a day, you'll be dead. So we need to pace ourselves. Choir, that might mean that you sing out occasionally for me this morning and then relax. Soloists might not sing everything this morning.
You can overblow or you can oversing, so it was vital that we don't peak on day one. Well, we didn't, so that's fine, but it's vital that we don't oversing today.
I was listening to our orchestra, our children, deliver this incredible music. For me, it's been just beautiful. I couldn't have hoped for anything better.
What's the hardest thing about it, actually, the piece? Does it feel good to sing? Does it?
Yeah.
Can you hear each other?
Sort of. I mean, it's a large distance, to be honest, between the first choir and the second choir. I can definitely hear the orchestra very well.
Yeah.
And it all rings very well.
Very disconcerting for singers because you've got nothing to blow or tickle or something. You have to do it yourself. But for playing-wise, is it easier?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
you can hear yourself.
Even at like 8th desk, it seems quite far back, but actually because there are just so many, there's hundreds and hundreds of people, you sort of feel more involved together.
And it was interesting between the first rehearsal where we sort of played it and that was fine, and then you got into your sectionals, and then suddenly you found your feet. You know, the strings found they could make a big sound.
Yeah.
And the woodwind the same and things, and the brass. And, But, it should be exciting.
You know, they didn't get much of a chance to get a feel for the hall this morning, so I just wanted to get them to sing something really gentle with nice clear words, and then also just to get them to sing nice sustained lines, making sure that, you know, they were feeling comfortable in the space, and then also just making sure that there's a nice clean, pingy, exciting sound for the loud bits. So that's what we spent about 20 minutes doing.
You just might be a fair fight for the orchestra. Let's do that opening with everyone. Don't open your copies. Don't you dare open your copies. Folks, here we go. and enjoy that competition between the two choirs at the start. You're all together to start with, then they get a go, then you get a go. Chorus, sit down, thank you.
But I think I'm really enjoying just being able to be in the space.
I'm nervous, but I think we've put lots of work in, and I just think we should just go out there and enjoy it and sort of do our best, as they say.
We're definitely ready now. It's a better acoustic, certainly for the orchestra. I don't know about the choirs at the side. They may have found it a bit harder today now and may feel a bit more exposed, but the orchestra can hear everything now and hear each other, and the soloists have lifted it, you know. Getting professional soloists in has been a good thing.
This morning they've just got off a bus, they were feeling a little bit sleepy. They're still getting to know one another, but I think, having had a lunch and realising that, the performance is now only a matter of hours away, they're all fired up and ready to go.
They will never forget this moment, and I think that's really, really important. They will not forget it. They'll be sitting there, in 70 years' time probably, and remembering the particular moment in the festival hall. I'm pretty sure they will be.
All of the component parts will have been rehearsed, all of the component parts will be right, but it won't have been heard in its entirety. And the first time we should do that, and therefore the first time that we peak, should be on Tuesday night.
There's just so many different aspects that are going to take away from this tremendous experience. I mean, it's tremendously exciting, and you can see it in their faces now.
I mean, for me as a director of music, it's an amazing opportunity for my pupils to be able to experience something on a vast canvas in such a way that we could not possibly provide for them.
If you take risks, with anything to do with music, with young people, 9 times out of 10 they won't let you down. You can throw the most ridiculous gauntlet down at them, and somehow they will rise to that challenge.